everyone to Rest Day Rants with Affinity, where we discuss everything from corrective exercise to elite athletic performance, blending training advice, nutrition guidance, and real-life conversations about health and fitness. I'm Hailey.
And I'm Brinley. And today we will be talking about new year, new baseline, and how to actually start strong in 2026. So how are you?
I'm doing good today, like a little tired. New Year's bringing in some new energy, but yeah, we're gonna build up to it.
Yeah, I feel that a lot. I think I stayed up too late last night, and then I still woke up early, so I'm a little. Hence which y'all will most likely always see,
And
something.
Tea, coffee, energy drinks, depending on how hard the day is.
Yeah, just gets us through, you know. We all have our vices. All right, to start off the inspiration of this episode, what's something you accomplished last year in 2025?
So I had a big goal of moving back out here and finding a job out here, which may seem like a silly goal, but the job market nowadays, you really have to like make a goal for yourself, and I had to sit there and apply and like find different things, and I had to set time aside. I'm going to find a job by this time and also apply to this many places and go to this many interviews. So it may seem silly for people, but like moving out here was a big goal of mine, so I could be closer to my family and the dance studio. Yeah, it was a big win, kind of a silly goal, but
no, it is, and I think you found a really good spot too. I would say, my biggest accomplishment from 2025 was to graduate college. For that, are you ready to talk about New Year's resolutions?
I absolutely am. Our favorite thing.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll start off our conversation by, let's talk about why people feel so pressured to completely change January 1st.
So I think a lot of people feel super pressured for January 1st because they're like, new year, new me, because that's the motto everyone says, but it feels just like Monday. It's like a fresh start, and they're like, I can completely change everything. I can be like a brand new person by then.
Yeah.
You know, even though it's just another day, just the next day.
Yeah, I think it's definitely there's a mental block behind it. I think that there's two sides to the coin. I think on one hand it can be really great. Like for some people, it's a motivator, it gets them started, and I think motivation is usually what gets people going. You kind of just have to build momentum off of it and not rely on it. I think that's the biggest issue. It's like people think that, oh, well, I'm motivated now, so I'll be able to maintain this for, the rest of my life, or whatever, the goal is. But a lot of people, they start so hard, they burn out. And so that's the biggest issue that we normally see with New Year's resolutions and trying to get fit quick as soon as January starts.
Yeah. I also think there's like we're coming off of holiday energy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no holidays, and they're like, I'm gonna have the perfect schedule, I'm gonna do everything right, life isn't gonna happen like life happens, and they're just not quite ready from that, but all the excitement is still there.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, and this even happens to us as coaches, like our schedules get all crazy too. You've got all the family in town, you're eating all the junk food, like it's so many things, you're pulled out of your schedule almost. It's really hard to avoid, and so I can definitely feel the need to kind of like clear everything out and get on top of everything as soon as the year starts. But there are also sometimes some things that kind of don't go the right way when you do that. So what's one big mistake that you see a lot as a coach going into January?
I would say the biggest one is probably people taking on so much stuff that they mentally collapse. Like they take on too much mental load.
Yeah.
All at once.
Definitely. Like you stack on making sure you're in the gym 5 days a week, and then trying to make sure you follow all of your macros and all of your food perfectly, and then you also tack on all of your work stuff and all of your home duties, like all of the things.
Yeah.
And then we create this mentality where everything has to be perfect.
Yeah. You can't make any mistakes.
Nope. You fail one day, you might as well just give it up and not try.
10 extra calories and the world is ending, and now you've eaten the whole bag of chocolate chip cookies.
Yep. Which, I mean, to be truthful, the reason we know this is because we've been these people before too. And so that is how we overcome these things. We accept that we've been there and we try better.
What is it? We listen and we don't judge.
Yes.
So when we're looking at the beginning of the year as coaches and we want a successful client, what would you say is like a baseline, a starting point? Like, what do you look at as a coach for your clients?
I would say, I mean, obviously it really depends on the client because every person is so different. Not everybody can follow the same baseline, but essentially when we think about the word baseline, we think about what is something that you can follow even on the hardest weeks. It doesn't necessarily mean like bare minimum, but it's more so what are some habits or what are some tasks that you can maintain even on the weeks where it seems like everything's going downhill. So for us, like here at Affinity, when we bring in new clients, the biggest thing, we just want to see you 3 times a week for an hour.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing. We want to see your face. We want you to move. And depending on you and your fitness level and your goals will kind of create the picture of what movement looks like. But that's the biggest thing. We just want to see you at the gym. And we give you about 6 weeks to kind of create the habit of showing up that many times a week. And throughout those 6 weeks, we learn all about you. Like we talk to you, we let you ask all the questions, and then we can kind of develop new baselines from there. Because as you progress, you want to create a baseline for every season of your life. And sometimes it's better than others. Sometimes we regress. It really just depends on the person.
So I would say like their baseline is just going from where they were previously to, the start of where we want them. So we look at the big picture and we say, here's your steps. This is step 1. This is now your new baseline, and let's achieve that. And so I give them like 3-4 weeks, and then we'll add one more step. And that's kind of what I look like when I create a baseline for my clients.
Yeah, so, I mean, just looking at the grand scheme of things, we take baby steps. It's one thing at a time, especially if you're somebody who maybe hasn't worked out consistently in a really long time, or maybe you've never worked out at all in any sort of structured fashion. We want to start you really slow because it's very easy to hurt yourself or make yourself hate going to the gym, and we want to make it something that you want to show up to. We want to really help to like develop that habit in your mind so that it's something that you want to do even though it's hard.
Yeah, make it so easy. It's just like brushing your teeth at night, because that's going to be consistency over perfection, because 8 years of training 3 days a week is going to get you further than 6 months on and off, maybe every other year.
Yeah, and I think definitely like a lot of people think that, oh, I need to be going every single day, and it really just comes down to the kind of training that you're doing, but like 3 days a week is perfect for a lot of people.
Most fitness standards usually recommend 2 days a week. Like ACSM, 2 days a week. If you're hitting every body part, you're good.
Yeah, as long as it's, I think, 2 days a week of moderate to high intensity.
Yeah. Depending on if you have any health conditions.
Yeah, and then you could expand and go maybe like more days of lower intensity. It really just depends on the person.
Yeah, and what your goal is. Why do you say most people overestimate what they can handle at the beginning of the year?
I think that a lot of us seem to think that we can just, if there's a will, there's a way, and we can find a way to fit all of these things in. And in a way, you can create a situation where maybe that's true to a certain extent. But if you have been off and on in the gym for a long period of time, and with your nutrition, and with your other habits, like think about all of these different things that you're just not consistent with, and then you think all of a sudden you're gonna be consistent with it every single day. That just sets yourself up for failure. And I think that a lot of people think it's just a laziness thing. Like they think they just can't keep up with anything. But I really think it's just life's busy. We all have our things and things come up. And so even when you create a perfect schedule, and even for us, like as fitness professionals, we have weeks where maybe we don't train at all because sometimes life is life. So you cannot expect 100% perfection all the time. We need to find a way to have a happy medium where it's like, okay, well, if we have a week or a day or whatever it is that's maybe not up to our standards, we just pick back up the next day, the next week, or whatever it is. Like, and it doesn't mean start all over where you have to be perfect. It's just come back to what you were doing already.
Yep,
Just keep
ease
going.
into it. Ease into it because you want to be able to do it for as long as possible. That's going to get you the best results. Like if you can do it for your whole life, that's better than if you can only do it for 20 years. So I have two reasons. I think it's the mental load, kind of like what you discussed, but I think there's a lot of the way people talk to themselves in their head. I think is a lot of the reasons why people fail at a lot of their goals, especially at the beginning of the year. Because if you tell yourself, I'm gonna run a mile every other day, but you go around talking in your head and saying, I'm not somebody that runs. I'm not somebody that runs every day. And you talk to people, you're like, yeah, I'm not a runner, but I'm trying to run and I'm gonna run every day. But you're telling yourself in your head that you're not that person. You've already set yourself up for failure because you're talking to yourself like you're not that person when you want to become them. So you should already talk to yourself mentally like you're already that person. So if you say, I want to be somebody that's like fit and meal preps and drinks all their water, or somebody that works out 2 days a week, you have to tell everyone around you, including yourself, in your head that I am that person. That's what I do. Even if it's a lie right now, that lie can become the truth.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a big one that I see a lot, just in like day-to-day life, even outside of fitness, like just normal stuff. Like people who struggle in school a lot of times, I'll hear, and I used to be this person, like, oh, I'm just not smart enough. I don't have the skills that this other person has, or whatever it is. And a lot of us compare ourselves to people on social media, people we go to school with or work with, and things like that. And it's acknowledging when you're doing that, because we all do it. It's acknowledging when you're doing that, stopping yourself, and being like, okay, well, I'm me. I'm my own person, and these are my goals. This is what I want. So you really want to visualize yourself like doing those things and like being those things. And I think
Yes.
that's very true.
And accepting all the hurdles that comes with it.
Oh yeah, because it's like, even once you reach that goal, or even when you reach what you think would make you happy, you'll find a way to not be content with whatever it is.
Current progress, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're always like, they always say once you reach a goal, you're unhappy because you want to reach the next goal. It's the same thing with even like little things. You drink a glass of water, you're like, yes, I drank water today, which is really hard.
It is. It's really hard. We get it.
Yeah.
It's hard.
And then you get to 8 glasses a day, you're like, I need more, I need to do better, but you're already doing great. Like just once you get your goal, just try and stick with that one for just a little bit and make it a habit.
Yeah.
I think the other big thing is like when people, their mental load, so when they pick too many things to get good at all at once, completely change their life, you only have so much of your bucket, and each time you're taking something out of your bucket, eventually your bucket's going to be empty. And it's all the little things. It's like driving to work, waking up in the morning, making sure you drink water, eating your meals. Every single one of those takes mental load. And everybody has a different capacity. So you have to pick what your capacity is. Do you have 3 extra scoops out of your mental bucket, or do you only have 1?
I heard, to go off of that, I heard an analogy very similar, except it was almost flipped. So my biomechanics professor in college, he was explaining to us that everybody learns differently. Everybody learns at a different rate, and everybody can essentially withhold a certain amount of information at once. And so he referred to the brain as a bucket, and essentially, as you're learning and as you're reading, you're continuing to pour into this bucket, right? Well, everybody's bucket is a different size. It just all depends on the person. So some people overflow really quick, and so they don't retain information as well. So those people have to repetitively study the same thing over and over. But they're also much more easily overloaded in a sense. But there are ways to combat that. and you just have to know what to pick out that you don't need in the bucket. So same thing with mental load. It's like, if you are somebody especially who is that way, don't add 5 new things to your list. Add 1 or 2. And maybe make sure they're not big things. Maybe they're very achievable things within a certain time period. What is 1 or 2 things that you see people quitting first?
I'd say the very first one is diet, because diet is multiple times per day. And when you form these habits for like 20, 30, 40, maybe 60 years that you've never broken before, and now you're like, I'm gonna break this habit, it's so difficult for people, and it takes, like we said, so much of your mental load, that that's usually the first thing I see people quit. And then if they go further along the road and exercise takes too much of their mental load, or they have not taken the time to like accept the on and off that sometimes exercise has when you're introducing it into your life, they'll quit that.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. Diet's the definitely biggest one, and I don't know if there's a single person who's never struggled with it in their life if they've tried to diet. Like,
if they haven't, they're a god.
Right. Like, I mean, almost everybody in my life has tried to diet in some shape, way, or form. And I think, honestly, like, a big part of that idea that I've learned for myself is when you create the scenario where it's a diet, it seems like this big scary thing in your head, and it seems like it's gonna be so hard. And some diets that have been put together are and can seem that way. But, you know, when we look at more of, you know, all right, so like what's about as much as you need to be eating per day. Like, when I start clients with nutrition, it's always, all right, let's look at your total calories, let's look at your protein, nothing else, because we're not trying to like waterboard them.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, because most people aren't eating enough protein.
I'd say when I look at diet, this is a little rambly, but when I look at diet, I'll either give them like a protein goal first, or I'll say, hey, I just want you to like try and hit 3 meals.
Yeah.
Just I don't want you to track. I don't want you to like try and eat more veggies yet. I just want you to make sure you get 3 meals. I don't care if they're chicken tenders and broccoli, or like just broccoli, or just chicken tenders. I just want you to eat 3 meals.
Yeah.
And once you can do that for a week consistently, then we'll add another goal, like a veggie with each meal.
Yeah. Especially with our ladies, y'all tend to undereat heavily.
Yeah.
And so definitely that is a big goal, is we want you to eat multiple times per day. Like, I think the average I see is once per day.
Yeah.
And
so common.
We have our days where that's the case. Like, it happens, but when it's a consistent problem, like an everyday thing, you start to lose muscle. You're not losing the weight you want to lose, because your body isn't functioning the way it should to lose that weight.
Yeah.
So
I would say a lot of, like, especially women struggle with this. I don't see a lot of men struggle with this. Is I'll get complaints of, I'm gassy, I'm bloated, I can't eat anymore because I'm so bloated, it's so hard, I can't digest that. What's happening is you've undereat, and this, not all the time, but a lot of the time, you've underate so long that your body's like, I don't know what to do with all this food. But once you start eating, your digestive system like kicks into gear, and all that bloating that you've been struggling with for years can go away. Like, you're feeling great, you have more energy, you don't feel yucky and full all the time. But you have to give your body time to adjust.
oh yeah.
Because undereating can cause the bloating, gassy, like stuff feeling just as much as overeating. I know it seems backwards, but
No, yeah, like, and this is why you see a lot of people who, you know, they get a coach and they're like, you need to be eating more, and they eat more than they've ever eaten in their life, and they're losing this weight. Well, it's because we need more food than we think we do. We've been taught for some reason that, you know,
100 calories will sustain you.
Yeah, which is crazy. But, and granted, yes, overeating is also a serious problem. But genuinely, when we're talking overeating, people are eating like 5,000 calories plus a day. Going off of the nutrition conversation, what is one nutrition habit that you would lock in before anything else to get yourself ready for 2026?
Me personally, if I was to lock into like one thing, it would be at the beginning of the day, thinking of the things that I want to eat, getting them ready in some form, whether it's just putting them in my fridge at the front of my fridge, meal prepping them for some people, or just like making a little list mentally of what I'm going to eat and when I'm going to eat it. Done at the beginning of the day.
Yeah, I would agree. I definitely think, at least for me, I'm a big the night before person. Just because I am a slow morning person half the time. I can be fast, but if I don't have to, I won't. So typically I'm a night before, but it's the same idea. Like, list what I want to eat. If I can prepare it, put it in the fridge. Some people do better meal prepping. Some people do better, making their meals as they eat or go through their day. I'm kind of a half and half. So half of my day, I'm usually busy out of the house, don't have access to anything, so I'll bring my food with me. Or I have ideas of things that I can get while I'm out that are still healthy. Because knowing what you're gonna eat, if you're someone who tracks, I go ahead and put all my meals in.
Put it all in.
No thinking about it, I just look, I'm like, okay, that's what I'm eating, and either I'll make it if I haven't, or I'll grab it.
Yeah, because you're reducing your mental load, and if you fail to prepare, you're gonna prepare to fail.
Yep.
So make it as easy as possible for you. It may be hard in that like 5-minute window, but then you're gonna save yourself 8 to 12 hours of anxiety of, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten in 6 hours, what am I gonna eat?
Mm-hmm.
So after you've picked that one goal, which we kind of have very similar ones, what would be your next step? How long would you wait before you added something?
I would say and when we say consistent, I mean, say you're winning more days out of the week. You're getting 4 out of the 7 days in a week, you're being consistent. Granted, if you do more than that, awesome. But if you can maintain something like that kind of consistency for like 4 weeks, you can start adding something else in to strengthen it.
So this means like you have every single morning or evening, you've planned out what you're gonna eat, and 4 or 5 days out of the 7 days a week, you have done that to a T. And then after 4 weeks, so say February 1st, maybe a weekend in February, you say, okay, I'm gonna add one more thing. So you say, I'm going to eat a veggie with every meal. And that's your next goal, and then you stick with that. And the more goals you stack, and you've made them a habit, the easier it will get. It won't be so taxing to add that next thing in.
Maybe it's hydration. Like maybe you're like, okay, now I need to work on making sure I drink water every day. You're not going to start off by saying, let me drink a gallon a day. You're going to start off with maybe like, if you're someone who just doesn't drink water, a glass of water a day. Yeah. Like genuinely that small, yes.
I have a pet peeve on this. Don't listen to social media, but if eating the veggie takes putting cheese on it, and you don't think cheese is healthy, to eat the veggie, you have to put the cheese, therefore cheese is the healthy option. To drink water, you have to put like flavoring in it, then flavoring in your water is the healthy option if it gets you to do it.
But it's still water. It's still 8 ounces of water, you're good.
Yeah. The flavoring is not gonna ruin the fact that it's water. Your kidneys really, by the time they've gotten there, like, they don't care.
I mean, from there, you would do the same thing. Like, maybe at a certain point, you can now go like, okay, if I can do this consistently for 2 weeks, now you can start adding another thing. As long as you're maintaining what you had set before.
And if you do, you don't have to like start, like say you've gone like a couple weeks without it, you don't have to like freak out and like restart and think that you have to have a day where you reset. As soon as you think about it, just try and reset, because that's going to be easier than picking, okay, in 3 days on Monday, I'm going to reset again, because that's going to be so much harder than as soon as you think of it, do it.
Well, and what I've learned too, when you do stuff like, let me put this off until this day, you will overcompensate those days leading up, and you will probably totally sabotage yourself worse than you would have had you just start the next day.
Yeah. Or even that night.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's say that the one we hear a lot, the diet starts Monday, right? Okay, well, say it's Thursday, so you've got 3 days between. You're probably going to veg out all of those days.
You're going to eat all the desserts, all the cookies. stuff you would normally not do, and
Right.
that's really bad.
Especially if you do it repetitively, you create a habit. You create this habit where in your head you think, okay, so every time before I start a diet, I need to binge and I need to do like eat all of this stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff's not going away. It's not running away. You can incorporate that stuff into your diet if you really need it or you really want it, whatever it is. It's all about, maintenance. Like you want to find a way to find a happy medium with everything.
And that also, I feel like, goes a lot to how you talk to yourself, because you're saying this food is good, this food is bad. When I start my diet, these are all good foods, and right now I'm eating the bad foods. And that's, if you can try and get rid of labels of good and bad foods, I don't care what people around you tell you, like if you can do that in your head, you're gonna be so much more successful, because no food is bad food. If you eat only cookies, that's probably not great. But, having some sugar is not going to be the end of the world. Having some energy drinks is not going to be the end of the world.
Just keep it to one a day if you can.
Yes. And preferably not every day.
Yeah. So let's segue into fitness. So same idea. What would you start off with fitness wise for yourself going into the new year?
So myself personally, so I already hit pretty much anywhere from 3 to 5 workouts a week. So after, if once you achieve that for yourself, my goal this year is to get back to my step goal. I used to be so consistent with my step goal, and I've moved out to the country now because I used to live in the city and I could walk a lot more places. You can't walk anywhere here.
No, not unless you want to walk on the side of a county road.
Yeah,
Get hit by a car.
Or like bitten by a snake,
Yeah.
which I grew up in the country. So it's not like I'm not scared of wildlife or anything, but it's not your nice little walk to the grocery store and back. So that's been really difficult. So I am going to start off super small, and I'm going to not even pick 10,000 steps a day. I'm going to pick like 6,000, because I think I've been hitting anywhere from 4 to 8. So I want to hit something consistent. So I'm going to pick 6,000 every day. And then once I get to that, I'm going to bump it up to 7, and then 8, and then 9, until I can hit 10,000 consistently. And then once I'm there, it'll be a habit. So
You don't have to hit the 10,000 steps ASAP.
Yeah.
It's small goals for pretty much all of us. Like, because you have outcome goals and you have process goals. These are process goals. So you're trying to do baby steps until you can get to that big overarching goal that you might have.
yeah, and it's really good to look at what your small goal is, and then think of like other ways to achieve it, not just one way. Like have multiple paths to success, because if one fails on one day, it might work on the other day.
For you, with your daily life, how would you make sure to get in those steps? What do you do proactively?
So if I couldn't go on walks multiple times a day, what I've found, if you're really struggling with a step goal, is like fidgeting almost. Not fidgeting, but like if you can go get, like if you have a big jug of water, this is a great example. Instead of carrying around a big jug of water, go get a glass, because you have to get up multiple times during the day to fill that glass, and that's going to add steps. The other thing is parking farther away.
Yeah.
People hate walking into buildings far away, especially in Texas, because it gets hot.
Yes.
But really, like if you can park just a little further, like add in a minute to your walk, throughout the day, it's really going to add up.
Yeah, and like with the water thing, that was a really good point, especially if you work a desk job, and a lot of people do, and you sit at your desk a lot, so you forget. Set timers on your phone that say, go get more water, or get up, move around. I think that's a great one that like I use too, because we spend a lot of time sitting at a computer too, programming and doing nutrition guides and stuff. So, we still have to be proactive about it. I mean, just because we work in a gym doesn't always mean that it's easy to stay active.
Yeah. So what is your fitness goal, and how would you achieve it?
So my biggest goal is definitely to get back to strength training 4 days a week. Now, obviously, I just finished out my last semester of college and internship, so I was not doing that.
Round of applause for Brinley, because that's some hard work right there.
But yeah, so I fell out of routine as well. I was probably lifting twice a week on average, which is still great. Like, that's still something. I'm very proud of myself for that.
Still hitting the fitness standard.
Yes. but my ideal is definitely 4 lifts a week. I get there, I would start with making sure I'm hitting my 2 days a week for I'd probably stick with it for maybe 3 or 4 weeks. If I can get more, awesome. Like, so when you create these small goals, you don't have to confine yourself to them. You can still beat that goal on days, but
don't burn yourself out on it.
right. So it's like, if I want to get 4 lifts in this week, I'll get 4 lifts in, or if I'm able to, I will. But my baseline is 2. So then that way, you know, if I get my 2 and don't get my whole 4, I'm not gonna sit there and be upset about it. And be like, okay, well, I got what I could, and next week I'll try to get more.
Yeah, and just because you got 4 in the week previous does not mean that it carries over to the next week. Yeah, it's like hitting like your goals at work. If like you're supposed to report to your boss once a week and you miss a week, your boss is gonna be like, where were you last week? What happened? I didn't get your report. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, sorry, I reported to you twice the week before. Is that gonna work?
No, that's not how you keep a job.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. One of the best ways to be successful with any of your goals is structure your life around it. Make it easier for you to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are days where you do not have the motivation or the sheer will to do things. It just needs to become something you do. It's maybe you may not want to, but you do it.
Like something I hear a lot is people, they get home from work and they sit down on the couch and then they can't get up. They were like, I'm gonna rest for 30 minutes and then I'm gonna go to the gym. If you know that you're somebody that does that, like, and you even tell yourself, and when you talk to people, you're like, yeah, I sit on the couch and then I can't get up. Don't plan that anymore. Don't say I'm gonna rest for 30 minutes when I get home and then go to the gym. You don't even go home. Or if you need to go home, but don't sit down. Do whatever you can to not sit down and get and start that habit, because your body loves habits. It loves routine, and it's going to go right back into it because that's what it's used to. So if you're somebody that does that, just get up and go. Grab your gym bag and go. Do whatever you had to do at home. Don't even, touch your bottom to a chair and go. Even if it's hard, like, it's going to suck, but it's really going to make you so much more successful. Even if you think 30 minutes of rest is going to make it so you do like way better, have way more energy at your workout, you're probably honestly gonna have the same amount of energy. It's just gonna feel mentally harder.
A lot of people's work schedules, you tend to have people who either have a very set, specific work schedule where they know what time they're coming in, what time they're off, or whatever the case may be. Now, those people, you need to set a specific time of day that you go to the gym. Like, that's when you go. Every day, no excuses. Like, don't plan anything else around it. Don't plan anything else during that time. Give yourself maybe like a 2-hour block. So that gives you enough time, hopefully, to get to the gym, to do your workout, and go home. Or go to wherever you need to go after. Now, if you're somebody who, like us, we have very sporadic, crazy schedules. Every day is different. I work out at a different time every day.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, what I found for myself, and it may be different for Hailey, is the earlier I get it done, the better. So if that means I have to get up extra early just to get it in that day, that's what I gotta do. And so I plan that. That's why I plan the day ahead. I plan that in. Because there are some days where, like, my whole day is booked. Like, I'm running from place to place. And in Texas, nothing's close. So
it's all spread out.
Every drive's about 30 minutes. And especially when you have multiple jobs like we do, it gets crazy some days. And so sometimes I gotta wake up an hour earlier to work out. And maybe if I don't have time to go to a gym, I will do push-ups, I will do sit-ups, I will do body weight squats, or if you have some free weights at home, I have some.
I would say, like, when I'm trying to, like, get to the gym, like, a struggle is, like, the mental part, I feel like, is the hardest. And I don't really know how I make it any easier on myself. I just do it. And it's, I don't know, it's like waking up and having to go to work. Like, no one likes it. And if you do, I'm sorry, you should probably go see someone about that. You've got to treat it just like you would a job.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't go, I think that's why we come in so handy, is because, like, if you don't show up, you're disappointing someone. So if that someone has to be yourself, like, take yourself serious. Like, keep your promises to yourself. you don't show up for your workout, you're disappointing yourself, and you should really take that into account. Not that I'm like trying to guilt you or anything, but
No, yeah, exactly. Like, think of yourself as your own boss. What would your boss think if you just didn't show up for work and didn't say anything?
Yeah.
You should kind of think of it that way. You know, maybe not so much of a beating yourself up, but more of a like, dang, yeah, that was kind of, I probably shouldn't do that, so let me go get it done anyway.
Having like a non-productive work day or like a work day where we're not as productive is still better than not showing up for work.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with a workout. Sometimes they're just not as productive. Maybe you don't hit the intensity that you normally hit, and that's okay. Something, again, is better than nothing.
Yeah. And if you do, if let's say you have the busiest schedule, mentally like super fatigued, you just like, you don't think you can do it, wherever you're at home, at work, when you have 20 minutes, pick like 3 or 4 exercises. You take that 20 minutes and you do cycles over and over, like a minute, 30 seconds of that exercise, and you do it for that 20 minutes straight, and rest if you absolutely need it. But that's your workout for the day, and sometimes,
Yeah,
that will get you through.
Yeah. The last point that I have, when it comes to training and making it easier for yourself, test different things out. Find something that is, I mean, obviously hard, but that you enjoy to a certain extent. Like, strength training is not everybody's cup of tea. I think that everybody should do it. I think everybody should put muscle mass on, but it's not everybody's thing. Like, some people want to maybe do it once or twice a week and leave it there. Some people really love running. Some people really love dance. Some people, like, you know, find that kind of movement that you really like that you can do consistently to make it easier for yourself as well.
Yeah, and find multiple avenues. I feel like I'm a really good example for this because I absolutely hate weightlifting. I hate it with my whole being, but it makes me look good and it gives me good endorphins, and there's fun things that you can do like bodybuilding or like pull-ups or, you know, being able to plank with somebody on your back. Look out for that video.
Really cool stuff. That's really hard to do.
Yeah, and you can only do that if you weight train where you do something that like builds muscle.
Yeah.
Like, I love dancing and I love cardio things. I'm not just, it's not me naturally is to lift, but I like all the things that come with it, so I force myself to do it.
Yeah. And I'm kind of the opposite, where it's like I much prefer strength training. I love doing it. And I love the benefits that come with it. But also, there are other forms of training that are still important.
So many avenues for different things. Like, you have, like, cardio-wise, you can do spin, you can get on the row or do a row class, you can kettlebell swing for 10 minutes and you'll be dying.
That one sucks.
Yeah, it really does. You can slam a ball. Like, you can mountain climb, or mountain climbers.
Yeah.
There's so many things you can do for cardio and weight training. Heck yeah. Come ballroom dance.
So, we're going to give a scenario kind of, for those of us who have extremely tight schedules and it just seems impossible to do any of this stuff. So I'm going to give Hailey a scenario, and she's going to tell me what I should do. So let's say I work as a higher up within a business, and I'm somebody who has to be glued to my phone 24/7, like I'm getting calls all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I spend about 8 hours a day at a desk, and I eat once a day, but then I wake up at like 3 to get ready for work because I have to be there by 5.
Okay, and how long are you working again?
I'm working at my desk about 8 hours a day.
Okay. How long is your drive time?
My drive time's 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Okay, so that's like 9, we'll say 10 hours because we'll give them 30 minutes to get ready. So I would add, if I was gonna eat I would probably meal prep once a week and just get everything where you can grab and go, because one, that's gonna take away time, and I would make them easily digestible meals that are quick and you can eat quickly. So like things that you don't have to, it sounds weird, but chew a lot.
Yeah.
But are still healthy. because you're gonna be able to eat them faster. You're saving time and you're being healthy that way. And then I would pick before I go to work and before I get ready, or after work. I would pick one of those times, either before or after work. I would give myself 30 minutes and I would come up with an exercise routine that fits each body part. And I would do that consistently over and over and over, 3 to 4 days a week. And if you don't have 30 minutes that you can shell out, let's say you go to the grocery store twice a week, or you do things outside of work, because usually somebody that's that busy cannot do workouts at work generally. When I go to the grocery store, I don't care how silly you look. I would pick, like when you're in the cereal aisle, you do 10 lunges 3 times. When you go to the fruit aisle, you do some little push-ups on the shelf. Like, fit it into somewhere like that where you're out in public, and adding, an extra 10 minutes to that routine will not kill you, because then you're getting some exercise in. And then once you if you can once you get used to that habit, shell out that 30 minutes, and you've gotten into the habit of adding exercise throughout your day, once you can shell out that 30 minutes, you're really gonna be already set up to have an exercise routine that's quick and efficient, and you're done and over with and don't have to think about it. Doing squats in between phone calls is really good too. Squats, push-ups, if you can, you're never gonna get in trouble for a minute of breathing time. So you take that breathing time and you do it while you're doing push-ups, or you do it while you're doing squats.
Yeah, even mobility stuff too, like stretching. Stretching's great, especially for people who sit for a long period of time. Tight hamstrings, tight hip flexors, not a good time.
If I had a desk job, what I would do is I would pick exercises to do throughout the day, and I would say I'm gonna do 10 push-ups 4 times. I'm gonna do 10 squats 4 times. I'm gonna do sit-ups 50 3 times, something like that. And then I would set timers, like you would to get up and get water.
Yep.
And build that in. And eventually you're gonna get in the habit, and you'll be able to find 30 minutes of time, even no matter how busy you are. There's CEOs that they can get it in, but they've built up to it. If you have time to watch TV, you have time to exercise, because you can exercise while you're watching that TV.
That's very true.
So when you have a new client and they come to you and they're like, I'm really struggling, I feel so guilty, I miss my workouts, I'm eating like shit, how do you kind of coach them through the guilt of these situations?
You want to find kind of a happy medium where you're like, I understand your situation because I've been there and I get that. But what we need to do from here is just get back to it. Just get back on track. It's kind of don't give it too much attention, because a lot of people, they kind of want that attention because they want to feel better about it. But the thing is not that you should have a mentality where you're beating yourself up all the time, but you should feel maybe a little bit guilty.
Yeah, you gotta treat it like if you tripped. If you trip, you don't sit there and you tell everybody, I tripped. Oh my gosh, did you see that? I can't walk the rest of the way to the car because I tripped. You trip and you go, oh well, I still gotta walk. And get to your car.
So, what does long-term success look like to you?
Long-term success looks a little different from my specialties, because I kind of look at more lifestyle stuff when I'm outside of the bodybuilding training, because that's completely different when it comes to success. But when I look at the everyday person, I say, what are you going to be like in 90 years? And if we are headed down that path, I want everybody to be over 100 apparently.
Yeah.
If I am setting you up long term for that success, if I see in a year or two that you're hitting your workouts, you're relatively eating well, and that you're getting your recommendations for cardio and exercise, I'm happy. Especially if you're doing mentally better. If you're I feel great, I'm happy, I may not be the weight that I want to be, I may not be a triathlon athlete or a marathon runner, but I can lift my grandkids up, I can sit down and get off the floor by myself, I can bathe, and all my everyday living activities are easy and don't make me stressed out. That's a win in my book. It's a huge win, because that like heartbreak of not being able to live your daily life, especially when you get older, is I don't want anybody to be there.
Yeah.
So that's success to me, long term success.
I agree. Like, I think in our profession, social media has created this situation where we all, need to look like Greek gods, and we all need to follow all of these fads and all this crap. But in reality, at the core of it, it's longevity and being able to live comfortably, like physically comfortably, as long as you can. To have a fulfilling life, and I think that's the biggest goal that everybody should have.
Yeah. Like, I want to be able to put on my own socks when I'm 90. And I would say, like, short term, maybe not short term success, but like if I was looking at like long term success for like somebody younger, if I look at your labs, not that we're allowed to look at labs, okay?
Zoom into our face like,
yeah.
But we do.
But we do. We're not allowed to diagnose or say you have this or that, but
No.
if you say, hey, I was, diabetic, and so if your like HbA1c was super, super high, and you're like, it lowered 2 points, and it took you a year, that is some success in the short term for me, long term short success. So that tells me you're getting healthier, even if you haven't lost weight, even if you haven't changed the size in your clothing or look like a Greek god.
Yeah, I mean, we even like one of the biggest things we pay attention to here is your visceral fat levels. Unless you lose a large amount of it, sometimes you can't tell. But you drop 1 point, and we're like,
yes, you've won the gold medal.
Exactly. Like, we know you're following your nutrition guidance, and we know you're hitting the gym the way you should be, because that kind of fat is extremely hard to lose otherwise.
Yeah, it's like glue.
Yes. It just wants to hold on to all your organs and slowly kill you.
Yes.
Literally. Literally. Okay, so we want to do our wrap up?
Let's tell them how to make a SMART goal.
Ooh, yeah. This will be fun to edit. I'm gonna love looking at her just like,
oh God.
Okay. So yeah, we can go through each step. I have to remember the exact word for each.
I'm gonna Google it.
Okay, so while she's making sure we have all the proper information, we're gonna go over with you how to build a SMART goal, if you haven't heard about it before. Do you ever swallow like an air bubble with your drink?
Oh yeah, all the time. I'm really good at embarrassing myself.
I feel just right in there between the boobs.
Where it right makes you start to hiccup.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
And I know if I like burp or anything, liquid will come with it. It's a good time.
Okay, so a SMART goal is an SMART goal. So each letter stands for something. So specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound. So any of these goals that we talked about that you create need to have all 5 aspects, okay? And it's really easy to do this long term and short term, and I recommend doing both every single time you make a goal.
Yep.
So specific. Give us a specific example of a goal, Brinley.
And to preface, you can do this with any goal. You can do this with fitness, you can do this with lifestyle, you can do this with hobbies, something you want to learn. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so we are creating a goal. Brinley, I want you to come up with a goal. And we're going to make it a SMART goal.
I want to lose 10 pounds of mostly fat mass by the middle of this year. So that would be
July?
Yeah, let's say by the beginning of July, like the first week of July.
Okay, so that's like, it's pretty realistic. Okay, so when we make a SMART goal, we are going to pick something specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound. So SMART. Okay, so the specific goal is you're going to say or write down, preferably write down, what your goal is, okay? So be very specific about what you want. Don't say, I'm going to have the body of a goddess. So what is your specific goal?
So the specific part of my goal is the amount of weight I want to lose. So 10 pounds, and it being purely fat mass,
Okay,
if
perfect.
possible.
If possible, perfect. And now we're going to make it measurable. So we already made it measurable by saying 10 pounds, okay? So it's now specific and measurable. So how are you gonna measure it? On the scale?
So yes, a scale, and because we're specifically looking at fat mass, if you have access to an in-body scan.
An in-body, that's great. Even one of those scales that have bioelectrical impedance. So the ones that have the little metal plates on them, those are fantastic. They don't have to be perfect. So now we've made a specific measurable goal. We know how it's being measured. So actionable. How are you going to achieve that goal? So what would you do to achieve that goal, Brinley?
So if we're looking at losing weight, we need to be eating in a calorie deficit. I mean, I have a quite long time frame to lose this weight, so maybe like a 200 calorie deficit, which can be adjusted throughout depending on training and everything with it. Now on the training side, if I want to lose as little lean muscle tissue as possible, I need to be strength training. I need to be doing resistance training, preferably hypertrophy, which will be closer to your like 10 to 12 rep range for most things. You can still do heavy strength training too. That's great on top of it. But very typically more steady state cardio. Cardio is still great for you. But if you're doing HIIT every day, you're gonna lose muscle.
Yeah. So now we know how we're gonna achieve that goal. And so is it realistic? Is it realistic to lose 10 pounds in 6 months? Very much so. Absolutely.
And that's actually probably a very healthy way to lose that much weight.
Yeah. I would say the max that I would recommend for most people, if you're extremely obese, it's different. Or if you're like kind of really getting close to being as low of body weight as you can be healthily, it's also different because you lose slower the more you lose weight, and faster the heavier you are. But like for the average person, 10 pounds in 6 months, you probably aren't going to gain that weight back. 10 pounds in a month, you'll probably gain it back. 10 pounds in 2 months, probably some of it. The further along you go, the less likely you are to gain it back. With that, make your SMART goal specific, measurable, realistic. Oops, I forgot A. SMART, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound. The 5 letters. Okay, and you can do this with every single goal. You can do it for your work. You can do it for a hobby. You can do it for, I don't know, watching a TV series.
So, to kind of help our audience out so that next time we talk again, we can kind of start with a little chat about this. What's one thing that you're going to lock in on for this week going into the new year?
Going to bed on time.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's really hard.
It was really
difficult.
Yeah, it's really difficult, especially when you're living with your family.
Yeah, but if I want to achieve my goals, which is like right now my step goal and then some nutrition goals and stuff, I have to get to bed on time because, like I said, I'm a morning planner even though I'm half asleep. And if I don't have like the mental capacity for it, I just can't do it, and I'm gonna do it. Honestly,
making sure that I'm getting in all my meals.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm at work, Mom. Mom, I'm literally filming a podcast. I love you so much. We're kind of wrapping up our little episode here, but you know, if you're interested in the next one and you want to really dig deep into your goal, we're going to be talking about fat loss 101 and what people usually get wrong when they're trying to lose some weight. Yeah. There's a lot of social media influencing going on that kind of influences people to do the wrong thing during this time of year.
Speaking of social media, you can follow us on social media because we post a lot of funny shit. We really do. You can follow Affinity Fitness on Instagram and Facebook at Affinity Fitness Rockwall.
Yep, Affinity Fitness Rockwall.
And then
we have Facebook, TikTok, Instagram.
Yep, all the same. And then they can follow you.
Hailey Cakes Fitness on Instagram.
Just Instagram, or do you have? Yep. Or you don't post on TikTok?
I should.
Yeah, you should. I created a new account for that because I didn't want to post my personal one.
Oh, I better make another one. Hailey Cakes Fitness TikTok too. Oh yeah.
And then you can follow me on, I believe my Instagram and my Facebook are both Brinlifts. I mainly post on Instagram, and then my TikTok is also Brinlifts. So, to close out this episode, we wanted to ask you guys to leave a comment to this question that we had for you guys. What's the biggest struggle that you have when it comes to accomplishing a goal?
Yeah. What is your personal struggle?
And let us know, and maybe we'll be able to kind of answer some of those questions, whether it's personally or maybe in a podcast episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget to like, post, and follow so you can hear the next episode.
And we'll see you guys next week for Fat Loss 101.